I'm just trying to change the color on your mood ring. Reebok, baby. You need to try some new things. This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv. Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, answering more questions today for the Power Project. Brought to you by HowMuchYouBench.net and the only strength magazine in the world, thepowermagazine.com. The question for today comes from Francis, and I'm going to answer this quickly before I head over to Reebok and work on a powerlifting shoe. Part of the itinerary for today is to go over some licensing agreements, perhaps talk a little bit about the slingshot and some other inventions down the road, and hopefully things go well. Should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Also going to train a couple of their guys, a couple of their CrossFit Games competitors, along with just some of their normal CrossFitians. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it, fired up. And also, of course, I'm working on a powerlifting shoe. If I look like shit, it's because I look like shit. Anyway, Francis' question is about repetition, and he wants to know what my opinion is of repetition. Is it necessary to do a lot of repetitions to become good at the squat, bench, and deadlift? He's currently doing the conjugate system, but he's got friends and buddies who are doing the Shaco program and some other programs that allow you to actually do a regular squat more often, that allow you to actually do a regular deadlift from the floor, that allow you to do the actual lift that you're going to do in the competition. Now, I think where most people are making the mistake is they're missing the beauty of the conjugate system. The whole beauty of the conjugate system is the fact that there is really no system. That's what you got to think about. Remember in the Matrix? What's the key to the Matrix? There is no Matrix. How do you bend the spoon? There is no spoon. How do you program for powerlifting? There is no program. There is no cookie-cutter program. There's no kind of one way of doing things. But the conjugate system allows you to kind of input and implement whatever it is that you need. So let's say, for example, you're doing a box squat. A box squat is different than a regular squat, correct? There's nothing in there. There's nothing in the conjugate system that says that you couldn't start with you couldn't have started with a regular squat. But there's also nothing in there that says that you can't do a secondary barbell movement, which is always recommended by Super Training Gym. There's nothing in there that says you can't work on your form and you can't practice your squats after you do your box squats, or after you do your deadlifts, or after, let's say, you do a block pull, and then maybe your assistant's work for that day is full range of motion Olympic squats. I always put that in quotes because there's no squatting in the Olympics. Anyway, it's another topic for another day. But practice makes perfect, and practicing perfectly will even improve your form and improve your efficiency. It's also going to improve your force production. The dynamic effort day is a day to work on your form. So if you want to do similar exercises to the ones that you do in competition, you can do that on your dynamic day. I mean, you could also do it on a max effort day. Don't get me wrong. Remember what I said earlier. There is no program. But you can do it on your dynamic day, and you can work on form perfection and force production. That's what Jesse Burdick and myself always preach when we go out and do our seminars. It's actually Jesse Burdick's trademark, I believe. He came up with that unique quote there, and I think it's really good to show you that what's the goal for the day. Jesse and myself, we always talk about the intent of the day. What is the intent? What is the goal? I urge people to write down about 3 things they want to do for the day, but one of them should definitely be what the intent is. Is the intent to hit just an all-out max 1 rep, or is the intent to get more volume? And you want to make 20-pound jumps once things start to get hard, once things start to feel like a 7 out of 10 on the oh shit level, the oh shit meter, and then you make 20-pound jumps and you get in like 5 or 6 sets. It's kind of up to you. Or is the goal just to go all out and go for broken, and hopefully end up with a big fat PR for the day? So you got to decide what the intent of the day is, but practicing perfectly is always going to benefit you. And for your newer lifters, and I say newer lifter, I'm talking about like 1 or 2 years of already powerlifting. But for some of you newer guys out there, or that are even newer than that, you're going to have to work on the squat. You're going to have to work on the bench. You're going to have to work on the deadlift. And I would even say that you're going to want to work on them in such a strict fashion that you really dial them in. But I would do that more so on assistance exercises. Like I would do things like pause squats. I would do things like deficit deadlifts or stiff leg deadlifts. Stiff leg deadlift and stiff leg deadlift, regular deadlift combo, a bell combo deadlift or a bell combo squat. Good morning. You guys have seen me illustrate those before. Those are great learning tools. Those are great ways to teach people how to get their hips in proper position for both of those exercises. Also, a box squat is a tremendous tool on teaching people how to squat, or squatting down into chains is also fantastic. So there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat. There's a lot of different ways to go about doing things, but make sure that you are practicing perfectly. At the same time, don't be a pussy. Don't be like, oh, my form was all. Sometimes you hear people say, oh, no rep. That was no good. You didn't stay tight. It was broken. The CrossFitters use that term a lot. You were broken, which is actually a great term. But shit's going to break down. Things are going to break down. But work on keeping your positioning as best you can. Fight for your positioning. And when you on-rack weights, when you go to do a squat, when you go to do a bench, try to maintain those positions. Get yourself tight from the top. Get yourself tight from the get-go. And don't allow yourself to get killed by those weights and end up in some funky positions. Anyway, I got to get going over to Reebok, and I got to go embrace my fears and follow my dreams, and that is it from supertraining.tv. Mwah.